missile is concerned, so this is a missile will become a warhead. Missile will become a warhead. Missile may have the propulsion. Missile may have a propulsive units inside that one, or missile may not have the propulsive units. So that means which are available in air. So may be carried by an aircraft or the helicopter, and in air only the target is available. Those missiles are called air-to-air missiles, and some missiles like air to the ground. So I am dropping the missile, a missile from the air. So that means by using an aircraft or the helicopter, but the target is on the ground. Target is on the ground. So that can be, and other missiles would be like ground to the ground missiles. So from one point to the other point, the ground to ground targets are being assigned, right? And the fourth type of missiles is ground to air missile. To target into the my target is available in the air, right? So all these missiles will become a warheads only. All these missiles are the warheads only, where their purpose is for the destruction, where their purpose is for the explosion of individual propulsive units internally to propel them or to reach to the desired targets. And some missiles will not have the propulsion unit inside them. So that means propulsive unit means the thrust reduction units available or may not be available in this. And most of the missiles we see, they'll have this fins on the tail wings, and some will be having even on the main body also. They'll be having a fins like this. So what exactly this fin? Why do they need the fins? Means in order to stabilize in air. In order to stabilize in air, when the fins are, when the body is rotating, the cylindrical body is allowed to move in air. So that will be going for the continuous purling, or the missile body will be having even that sideward force or the lift force will be generated on the missile body, which diverts from the actual path. Which diverts from the actual path. So in order not to get diverted from the actual path, we will be placing within a fins over that particular body, and this fins helps to move it in the direction which is required. So that is taking a directional advantage. We are taking it from this fins, or these fins are like your horizontal stabilizers. So they are stabilizing that body not to deviate from the direction which has to be launched. And here if you see in the other image, here in this image if you see, so there is a small movable surfaces are also available in this image. There is a small movable surfaces are also available in this one. So these small movable surfaces are controlling the missile direction. Some missiles will be very autonomous in nature, and they will be autonomous missiles. So that means target once the target is fixed in that one, it has to take its own geometry, or it has to take its own path to reach that particular target. So to make that particular arrangement, so they will be even arranged with this type of, they'll be even arranged with some control surfaces on that particular body. They'll be arranged with control surfaces on the body. So these control surfaces will make it to make the desired manuals. So that means maybe going for take round, like, so that type of manuals can be performed with it, and it has to reach to the designated point. It has to reach on to the designated point. So generally, if you concentrate on the right hand side of it, so generally this basic parts of this missile is nose cone, payload section, body tube, recovery system, launch lug, and recovery wadding, and fins, and the engine mount. These are the general and the basic parts which are commonly available in all. And if you are very specific to some type of configurations, it would be like this. So warhead, then automatic gyro control, then the guide beam and the radio command receivers, alcohol water mixture, that is a propellant which is available. That means the required fuel to travel that, right? So that is a rocket body, that's a structure. Here liquid oxygen, then hydrogen peroxide. This all gets when we are getting into the more detail of this particular missile body. So but generally to be in general about what exactly the missile parts means, these are all the autonomy of the missile body. These are all very specific. They have wings, jet wings, nitrogens, and inside the pumps are being located and all this. So that means we are going very specific in this case. And this is a pump available inside, and here we have engine and the exhaust pipes, right? So that and all very specific to that one. So but when we are seeing it's only a general or the basic line of it. So this is what it should consist of. It should consist of nose cone, payload section, body tube, recovery system, launch lug, and recovery wadding, then fins, and the engine mount. Now coming to the nose cone, as far as the nose cone is concerned, it will be available with the warhead, or whenever the target is available with the minimum hit or with the desired hit of the load that has to get exploited. And what is the payload is? The payload may be the whatever the content of the explosives we have, or in some cases it may be accommodating that autonomous systems available inside the cone. And the body tubes is like a system which is available for the fuel and the propellant storage. And the recovery system is, if I want to get back this recovery system, so that means I would like to make a launch in that particular zone. So then I may be having a recovering that particular system within a parachute. And the launch lug that is only applicable for some cases where if I am mounting this missile on an aircraft. if I'm mounting my missile on an aircraft, that is a recovery, that is a launch lug which we have. And the recovery wording is, so if I don't want to go for this particular operation, so it has to end up there itself means, so I have to, this wording will help me not only for the recovery, so it will, in case if I have changed my target, in that case I have to get reduce my weight and again travel back. So travel back means reach out from the target point and move to the other point. So that is the wording we have. Then fins are to control the body, and engine mount to have some specific thrust to be generated on that body. So that will be available in the general missile bodies. Generally, this is what available in the missile bodies we have in this. The space shuttle is the one which is designated to travel beyond the atmospheric limits, which is designated to travel beyond the atmospheric limits, and whereas in beyond the atmospheric limits, and if you see most commonly the primary control surfaces, are also available on the space shuttle. That is your elevators, ailerons. Ailerons are not the ailerons, and elevators have been combined here in this one, and they are being named as elevons. When the elevators and ailerons function is being merged, then we will call it as an elevons. And as we see on the top of the wing configuration, so that means based upon the wing platform, we can say that it is delta wing. We can say that it is in a delta wing configuration. So here in this configuration, the movable surface, so that means we are absent with the ailerons, but both the functions has to be taken up by this control surface, so that are called as an elevons. So the applications are same, so but both have to be performed by this one. So as far as general anatomy is concerned for this one, here again we have vertical stabilizer. Again, there is no horizontal stabilizer available in this one main wing with the elevons on that one, and the central body, which is a fuselage, generally we call it is, right, the fuselage location. In that fuselage, here we have the accommodation. Here either we are going with the live passengers, or only the mass we are carrying it in that one, or only the systems we have it in that one. So that is available in this this cockpit section. And another one is the engines accommodation. Engines accommodation we have at the end of this one, where the engines accommodation is not only to function or to move that particular vehicle. And it's in the space shuttle, in the space vehicles, these engines can able to change the direction of the aircrafts or the spacecrafts also. So that means the engines are movable in this case. The engines are movable in this case, right? And if we open up the completely internal structure, when we see, so they have the special launch pads in the special launch equipments here in this one, and some remote control arms are available in this one, right? So internally, when we see, this is what the available space for us to utilize. So which is for the cargo, or which we are using for the transport of any system that can be utilized in this space vehicles, right? So engine, star tracker, and live quarters, flight deck, these are all available in the space vehicles. These are all available in the space vehicle. But space vehicle directly cannot travel into the space with the fuel or the body size it has on it, right? The space vehicles need to be accommodated within a boosters. That is, some boosters will be liquid and some boosters will be solid on that. Solid. And so now functioning is same. Elevons function is for the rolling motion on that particular body, and for the pitching motion the elevons should be utilized. And in the rudder, here the rudder will not be sufficient for the space vehicle to make the movement. So in order to overcome that one, so we'll be utilizing even the engines also. That is, the engines also can change the direction of this exhaust hose. That is the reason it is called as maneuvering engines. That is called as a maneuvering engines. So these are all main engines, and the body flaps we have. So that is secondary control surfaces, and the fuel tanks we have. Okay, so you can write the whatever this applications of the space shuttles are. So generally, what are the parts available? Main wing, cargo bay, engines, this cockpit location. These are all some forward thrusters located on it, and some live quarters deck. So that means in order to communicate exactly what is happening in this, that is a cockpit bay, or the systems we have it in that aircraft or the spacecraft, and some remote controlled arms in order to locate and trace and operate this particular space shuttle. Now you may ask me why they are called as a spacecraft. Why can't we call it as an aircraft? Because their application is for the space. This application is for the space. For that reason, they are called as a spacecrafts. For that reason, they are called as a spacecrafts. Okay, next time I'll ask you, or else today I'll put you a question. So you can put it in the chat box. So that the question is, what is the lubricants they are using in between the moving parts, that is the control surface and the main wing. So as the rudder is a movable surface, as the elevons are also movable surface on this one, what is the lubricants they are using in the space vehicles? Let me know in the chat box, or in the next session I'll repeat this question. So what are the lubricants are used for the in the space vehicles? What are the lubricants are used in the space vehicles? So generally when we see directly, when you are seeing the real picture of the space vehicle, so here in this image you can see the real picture of the space vehicle, how they are, and here you can see the crew members. 2 crew members are available in this one. So here we can see the 2 crew members, and this is how complete system would be. So communication devices and all this cockpit, there is some cargo bay available in this one, right? So this is how this is the structure of the wing. Internally you can see, right? So this is all about the space shuttle, right, or the space vehicles which are designated to travel beyond the atmospheric level. So this is how the space vehicles will get separated. This is how when we are operating with the space vehicles. So initially they'll have a solid boosters, and brown indicates the liquid booster available on it. So initial takeoff, vertical takeoff, so vertically flying up, and once the designated altitude is reached, then these boosters, that is sideward solid boosters, got separated. Then we have only liquid booster attached to it. Then in that one, so then again the main engines have got separated from it, right? So that is other system got separated. Then this only space shuttle is moving in the required orbit insertion, and when in orbit operation, once it is carried in orbit operation, then it is getting the deorbiting. Then it is getting deorbiting, and after deorbiting it can again re-enter back to the atmosphere. Those vehicles will call it as a re-entry vehicles. When it re-enters into the atmospheric limits, so that we will call it as a re-entry bodies. So here we can see, so that means some of this will be recovering. So that means the boosters which are separated from this one, so they are recovered within a parachute. So they are called as a recovery systems. So here in this case, the solid rocket boosters have been again recovered, and here you see when it is carried in orbit operation has been carried. So that means it is coming again deorbiting. So that means from the orbital path it is again moving out and reaching into the Earth's orbit path, and finally it enters into the Earth's atmosphere, where you can see, as the picture itself is showing you, it comes within a very high temperature. So where the high temperature material should be available in order to resist the temperature on that particular body. With a very high temperature, this would be re-entering into the Earth's atmosphere because of the drag acting on that one, and it is already traveled a lot of the distance away from it. So finally it will be recovered, and as it recovers immediately into the Earth's atmosphere, or as it recovers onto the place, so it will be immediately, so all the surface panel will be removed on that body. So because that will be having a very high temperature, very in thousands of Kelvin, the temperature would be raised on the body, that need to be recovered on the space vehicle. And the drag also, it is not sufficient for it to stop on the land. So in order to reduce that speed and to brake, or to apply the brakes, we'll be deploying the parachutes on it, and we can apply the brakes on this, recover back again our space shuttle which has been sent into the